Celebrity in the house.
We'll go ahead and start questions with Colin to coach's left today.
Coach, what have you spent the last 24 hours doing with the team, getting ready for this next game? I know it's another quick turnaround, but midweek game to prepare for against a pretty good A&M team.
It's actually a longer turnaround than, the Saturday, Tuesday, so this would be a normal turnaround for league play. So, their players are off on Sunday. You got NCAA required rules of having a day off, deservingly so, or the coaches would just abuse that rule. So, fortunately for everybody, that's a good rule that's in place. But certainly for us, it's business as usual in terms of trying to get up to speed with our next opponent, which is Texas A&M. And we've just been, doing what we normally do and breaking down their film and trying to get our thoughts together of presenting a game plan this afternoon to our players.
Go to coach's right with Jacob.
What stands out to you about the way A&M plays kind of under a new head coach?
Yeah, it's a very unique style. You don't see it very often. I played against a very similar style once in my career at New Mexico State. We played a team. It was actually a rival team, New Mexico, that had a coach for a couple years that played a very similar style than Texas A&M. So, but it's it's still different, and that's what's unique about it is the positives are teams don't see it every game. So you've got to do some things different in preparation for practice. With just the constant pressing, their constant attack mode on both ends of the floor, you're going to see more press attacks and different ways to press in one game than we've seen all year long in all the games combined. So it's very unique that way, but they just don't take the foot off the gas. On the offensive end, it's the same way. Make or miss, they're trying to respond and pushing the ball and trying to get an advantage early, and then they shuttle guys in and out. They play 11 guys on a consistent basis. I don't think anybody plays more than 24 or 25 minutes per game, so that's an advantage for them as well. And most teams obviously aren't subbing as frequently or having that many guys play consistent minutes. So it's just a very different style and one that we're trying to learn on the fly and get our guys ready for.
Sam, front row middle.
Yeah, with all that press that you were just talking about, what's just the key to handling that and being able to, overcome that against Texas A&M?
Well, I always say it's a pass and catch game. It's kind of like football that way. You got to take care of the basketball. You got to take care of the rock. Got to rely on your training. But we're not going to reinvent the wheel in 2 days. Certainly, we're going to spend a lot of time on trying to put our guys in the best position possible to attack their presses, and you got to decide, are you going to try to score every time, or are you going to try to just break the press and then make them guard you in the half court? And that's a decision that every coach and the player in the game has to make, because they're the ones that ultimately make the decision when they have the ball in their hands, and it's something that we're obviously talking about a lot.
We'll go to Paul, second row left.
Coach, obviously, if you put somebody on the court, you have trust in them and vice versa. But notice Jamar started the second half the other night. How much more trust has there been with him lately, the way he's kind of started out in SEC play?
Yeah, he deserved to start the second half. He had played well in the first, and we know one of those games where it's real easy, one of the coaches assigned to that will come up to me at halftime and same starters, right? And more often than not, most coaches, start the same starting lineups, but it's something we've been talking about lately, which obviously just makes common sense and doesn't mean you have to. A lot of it depends on, foul situations certainly come into play, but also who's playing the best, and then even more importantly, which group of guys or combinations of guards or forwards are playing the best. But I thought Jamar obviously had a great game. He performed well in the second half too.
We'll go Danny P, second row middle.
One of Jaden's responses to one of our questions said, we know we have to put 40 minutes together. Just talk about, it's good that the players recognize that. How do you as a coach get them to do that on a consistent basis?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't have all the data in front of me, but I was pondering that yesterday and trying to find a way to approach our guys today. And I'll have it at my fingertips, obviously, before we go to film. But in SEC play, like the early returns and what I'm asking for in terms of data, like it's like two different teams. Defensively, focusing on just that. Like our first half defense in the 5 SEC games, like what we look at, the 4 factors, et cetera, total efficiency is really, really good. Like really good. Across the country good. But the second half is the other end of the spectrum. It's been poor. And that's very frustrating. So as coaches and players, we've got to recognize that, obviously. It's easy to do that, but now, how do we fix it? And there certainly is a lot of suggestions on how to fix it. Play more guys. Maybe we're tired, which we do sometimes in terms of changing up the scheme. We'll do that plenty of times in the second half. We did it multiple times in the last 10 minutes of the Ole Miss game in terms of how we try to defend ball screens, how we play in zone, playing zone to man in the same possession, which we've done quite a bit this year. That most fans don't see that, but that's a call that we have, and of just trying to put our guys in the best position possible. But the discrepancy between the halves is crazy. I mean, it's a crazy gap, and it's the same team, it's the same players, it's the same coaches, and so that's what we're trying to do, is to figure out how we can play better longer. If the games were 25 minutes, they're not, obviously, but if they were, I think our record would be different. And unfortunately, that's not how the games are played. So we all have to understand what's going on and try to fix it.
We'll go across the front row with Sam, then Colin, then Steve.
How have you just seen Serge develop throughout the season and, coming over from Europe and just his first season of college basketball?
Again, you know me, I don't like to speak for them, but from watching him, I think the game has just slowed down. I mean, that's probably, for lack of a better term, when guys start getting it, you can just see that the game, from their perspective, just slows down a little bit. If you remember, when he first got here, at least in the games, he was rushed. He would throw errant passes. He would get flustered a little bit at times, and we'd play too fast. And I think the game has slowed down for him, and he's getting more comfortable with the athleticism and the length that's on the court. He's always been a guy that, prior to coming here where he played, he was one of the better athletes and slashers. And now, not that he's still not, but there's a lot of other guys out there that can do the same things. And certainly with him not being here in June and July, I mean, having just knowledge of the system, the terminology, the expectations, is helpful. But like I've been saying the whole time, I mean, I love coaching Serg. He's throwback. He's coachable. He's all about the team. He wants to win. He cares. And I'm just glad that he's with us.
You mentioned A&M's heavy rotation. I think they have 4 or 5 guys who average 10 a night. How does that change things for you from a preparation perspective? And are there some other matchups from this season that you can draw on for that?
Yeah, I think they have 6, if I'm not mistaken, which is, unheard of. That means they're scoring a lot of points as well if you have 6 guys that are averaging double figures. And but they play both ends. They put a lot of pressure on you all the time. They put pressure that you don't see very often. Like you miss a shot, they're picking you up, sometimes trapping you. You miss a free throw, they're picking you up, sometimes trapping you. And I don't know their calls. I don't know their system. I'm learning it. But they just give you so many different looks defensively, both in the full court and even in the half court. And sometimes they'll dial it back, and all of a sudden it's they're in you, and then they're not. And so, you know, it makes the game a lot of, you know, start and stop. There's a lot of sputtering at times, and it's obviously all by design. And so, again, it's a heck of a challenge. I'm looking forward to the next 2 days of trying to get our guys in the best position to, you know, handle the situation that they're in.
Go ahead, Steve, and then we'll go to Paul to wrap it up.
Coach, you mentioned that tale of two halves. When you're in the midst of that, like, what's your messaging to the team to make sure it's not a self-fulfilling prophecy where it's not a here we go again type thing?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it long before it's happening because we've already been through it. And so we'll talk about it in practice. We'll talk about it in shoot around. You know, certainly is another way to do it, to ignore it. But I tried that with this group and it didn't work. So now we have to address it, which we have long before Saturday night. And we talk about it in practice. Hey, we're halfway through, man. We've been really good. Just like the games, we got to finish. We got to have this 20 minutes be like the second half of a game with our attention to detail, our intensity, our being assignment correct. And I don't know if I knew, right, I'd already fixed it. And we haven't been able to, as a group, coaches and players combined, be able to unlock that answer, and we have to. I mean, it's you know, I love the way we've started games. I mean, you know, people talk about, you know, losing after a double-digit lead. When you have a double-digit lead early in the games, I mean, that happens more frequently than you think against really good teams. And every team we're going to play the rest of the year is going to be a really good team. It's just more sustaining our level of play. It's not how big our lead was or wasn't. To me, it's more just playing at a higher level for longer. That's what we're not doing. I don't want to change how we've started games. I mean, again, I'm going to have all the data here shortly, but our numbers and the things that we think are important for this team have been really good in SEC play in the first half, and we just haven't been able to sustain it. And we're trying to figure out different ways to make sure our guys understand what's going on, and then obviously try to help them fix the problem.
Coach, I know it's rare for Jaden and Josh to be that off in the same game, but when they have nights like that, what do you say to them, or do you have to say anything to either one of them, since they're both veterans and have had off nights before?
Well, you can't predict it, so you know, how do you deal with it during the game? You know, and then, like you asked, what do you do post game? I haven't physically seen either one of them since the game, but I've communicated with both of them individually, and they're both great young people. You know, they'd be the first to tell you, I got to play better. You know, I got to perform better. And they're not shying away from that. You know, we just got to continue to figure out ways to put them in better position to get cleaner looks. You know, as a staff, that's our responsibility. And then, you know, in the game, like, I'm trying to keep instilling confidence in them. I mean, they don't need me barking at them about missing shots. I mean, that's the one thing that I just don't believe in as a coach. In game, you talk about that much. I mean, that ain't going to help. You know, you can feel it in the arena at times when someone's off or misses a shot, the groan, the collective groan, and you know, the teammates and coaches are trying to, you know, pick them up, or anybody for that matter. It doesn't have to be those two guys. And they're both, you know, experienced guys, and they're going to be better next time, and they're going to come back to work today and be ready to go.
All right, thank you, guys.
Yeah.